be in the end? That's got to be like millions for a foundation that's trying to protect and save species on the endangered list, whatever. That's a huge amount of money. So I reckon he has the strings to pull to have her grant.
But with that
refused.
wardrobe, Jay, with that wardrobe.
Not the lawyer, the Michael Beach, Durant.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
Durant, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just saying lawyer.
How does he have this lawyer, by the way?
Maybe it's like a friend of his brother's or something. He's just doing someone a favour.
Has to be. Because, honestly, that lawyer bothers me. He bothers me a lot.
That's cool. What if she just went, sweet, this will keep me funded for a year. This will give me time to get more funding. And then she just goes and cashes the check.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of the lawyer either. And slight spoiler for in the future. There's when attacks start to happen, he's like isolated on his own with the other group as in one big room, and I was thinking, oh no, he's not going to be like the preacher of this film, is he? Where he gets like a solo adventure and joins. Oh no, it's fine, he's gone. So it's
mercy.
And also when Traitor Slint.
Trent Slater.
I just said Traitor Slint.
You just said Traitor Slint.
I think we need to like give him a new name or something, because like, you know, he's Trent, but then also we call him like Barnick Stud Muffin for Carter Blake. We need to get Trent like a name.
I'm fine calling him Traitor Slint. I think that's great. It's a shame he's not actually like a traitor in the film. He doesn't like turn on people, then that name would work.
Would have been perfect.
So we have Traitor Slint, but I don't want to say not Carter Blake because that seems too mean, and I don't want to do that. So what would be a good nickname? So we have Traitor Slint, but
Barter Clake.
What is it?
Barter Clake.
Barter Clake. So from what we've seen of him so far, like Mr. Stern or Carter Stern, I mean, what is he? What?
JOYSWIM, or we should just like JOYSWIM, like.
Oh yeah, JOYSWIM.
Goddamn JOYSWIM.
Okay, JOYSWIM. How's that? Do you like that?
Yeah.
Let's just call him JOYSWIM.
Call him
Sorry, Mark, we're taking that name away from you and giving it to Trent.
It's now Trent JOYSWIM Slater.
All right, so that's good. So JOYSWIM comes back to Leo, and he goes, open up 5F. But it's the tiniest facility. So, and then he just drives right in. So what is 5F?
And he's like practically there already.
We're hating too much on this, but I love it. I love this movie.
No, listen, I'm not hating. I thought this was very fun. Like, I watched it now twice in the last 2 days to like catch up and be able to do this podcast. And I just laugh all the time. Honestly, there are little things that are annoying, I won't lie, but it's like the tiniest thing. Most of the time, I'm just really enjoying it because it still has entertainment value. Like, and it's really funny. It really goes for the cheese. I mean, my favorite line in this movie is where at the end, where JOYSWIM, like, tells Durant at the end where they make it up. Sorry, I'm like going forward and stuff. But when they make it up and he's like, he demands Durant gives him the key and Durant doesn't want to. And Trent says, do you feel froggy?
Oh, I love this.
Then jump.
Yeah, that's my favorite line too.
My favorite line. It's so cheesy. And that's the movie, man. I feel like they looked at Deep Blue Sea and they went, okay, what do we think like could have been improved, or like, oh, what wasn't great, and let's like, you know, do our take on it. I feel like with Misty, she's so aggressively anti-pharma that it kind of feels like they went, okay, what's the exact opposite character of Dr. Susan McAllister? That's Misty, you know, like that, except for the like cleavage thing. Like, I think that's the only thing they probably have in common. With, like, Sam Jackson in the first one and Durant in this one, like, I think they were like, Sam was too subtle. Like, he actually didn't deserve that death in the first. Let's make this one over the top, insanely mad with this crazy God complex. It's fun. It's like, I just think it's a fun movie. So, yeah, if it sounds like we're harping on it, we're just, like, we're not, like, being mean. Like,
yeah. This is coming from a place of love. You know, you pour yourself some shark juice. Pour yourself some, right, Zanati? Some shark juice. And
shark juice. Go for JOYSWIM. And watch this movie. Yeah.
I got to tell you, this chapter, there are so many little things that just made me go, what? But JOYSWIM. I can't think of the last time I've found more joy in a line.
Because he screams it.
Yeah,
like,
a JOYSWIM.
Then how do you explain 5 Sharks going for a goddamn JOYSWIM? It's just, it's such a wonderful delivery.
After he was like, "Oh, we had a jailbreak," and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, it seems like you have a story to tell, not one I want to spread." I love the lines. Like the first time you watch it, you're like, I don't know how I feel about it. But honestly, anyone listening, give it a rewatch. It's so much fun. You just laugh a lot. It's great.
So there's 2 things you don't do, and one of them is piss in the wind, which is a lovely callback to Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
Is it?
But then the other one is pull on Superman's cape.
He's quoting a song.
Oh.
He's quoting "You Don't Mess Around with Jim" by Jim Croce. Where the first lines are, "You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind." So he's quoting that, but also he's paraphrasing it to have the piss into the wind to bring back in Deep Blue Sea.
Ooh, so that's a decent. I missed that. I feel silly now.
I mean, I haven't heard the song
Same.
before. I only know about
It's
this
so
just
funny.
from researching this. So it's like you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Is like the first lines.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Yeah, because like I got the like rule number 1, don't piss in the wind. I got that from the first one, but I didn't get the "you don't pull on Superman's cape." I didn't understand what that part meant, but.
Yeah, it's the chorus to
makes
this
more
song.
sense.
So it is an odd pull for Aaron to be making. Like, oh, what's the rule number 1? I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna sing you some songs lyrics from a song from the 70s.
I love Aaron. I think Aaron is a cool guy. Like he gets a lot of flack, and everyone dies for giving him flack. Which yes. Don't pick on Aaron. Oh wow.
He's chill, right? Yeah, he's just
alone in this.
no, he's super
he's
nice
good,
though,
yeah.
Right?
He is like he goes off on Durant. He's like, I'm quitting my job. He had like big Rappaport energy when he was like going off on Durant. Like,
I don't work
I'm
here
not having
anymore.
this. I quit. You are like blah blah blah. Like, I'm not getting into that water. Like, he's actually said a lot of things that made me think of Rappaport's character in the first one. And I just think like his heart is in the right place, man.
Yeah,
and he's not trying to be cool or like having his tits out or.
And he's played by Nathan Lynn, who is from Kimberley in South Africa. He's not been in anything else that I've seen, but he was in The Kissing Booth and The Kissing Booth 2, and just a few TV shows here and there, but nothing major, unfortunately. But I'd liked him to be in more things. I like his presence here.
Yes.
Well, we did some Outlander episodes.
Yeah, Joe Howard.
Critters Attack? There's another Critters movie?
Huh?
Yes.
I've yet to see a Critters movie, so, you know.
Oh, man. They form a critter ball, and they just roll around eating people alive. And there's a scene where a bounty hunter shoots at a critter, and he kind of takes off all the critter's hair. Then the little critter puts his hands up on its head and is like, ah! It's pretty great.
So are there any other standouts from the cast for you and Andy? Because this is the chapter we meet. There's only 2 characters who don't meet in this chapter.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about couple Leslie Kim and Daniel Kim. I mean, what do you think about the Kim couple? Daniel is overbearing. Like, I get that we found out later he's got a bit of a guilty conscience. So, like, that's why he's hanging on his new wife. But I was like, dude, like, if I was Misty, I would feel very awkward. Like, that was a bit much.
He could be called Traitor Slent. That's a bit more fitting name.
Yes. Daniel Traitor Slent. No.
Let's just go start getting confusing, so we're not going to do that.
Pardon all the PDA, we just got married.
Yeah. Yes, they're newlyweds, if no one picked up on it. This is a very tell-those show, kind of film.
Yeah, no, but I would say, yeah, Aaron is by far my favorite. Like, the rest is fine. I like Misty in the beginning. She's fine. Until, things just gets overly aggressive later on.
Well, I like that she's, I think it'll be next week or the week after when she kind of confronts Carl Durant. And, she's not in this to make friends, not in this for the small talk. But, yeah, I don't hate any of the characters. I'd like a bit more to some of them. I feel like Mike What was his
Mike. Mike. Yeah, listen, I don't know what to say about Mike, honestly.
He doesn't get a lot to do. He's not open for very long. Mike Chatello, played by Adrian Collins. He's got a lot of hair. Is about the most description I can give him. All over the place.
He looks like a wrestler. I'm like, what is a wrestler doing out in the ocean? I mean, that's not right. He should go back and wrestle.
I like that there's a deleted scene of him just walking. What?
It's the most innocuous deleted scene in the history of deleted scenes.
So there's a deleted scene where he walks up to this little generator, pushes 2 buttons, and then walks back in. He pulls a Rappaport from the first one, but that's the whole deleted scene. He goes, boop, boop, and then he walks back in.
And they felt like, let's include that on the DVD. People are going to want to see this.
You know what's funny? You say this about Adrian Collins, but he was a mercenary in Tomb Raider. He was a pirate in Black Sails. He had a good run in Black Sails.
That's it. I want more from him in Deep Blue Sea 2. I wanted more from this guy.
Yeah, he was a lead bar. He was a wounded soldier, a private. So he's been a burly actor in a lot of movies.
He's a named character in Chronicle.
Oh, yeah. And Professionals. I don't know what that is. But, well, I've never even heard of that.
I
but
feel sorry, no, he's there in this movie. He's just there until someone needs to dive down the water, and then all of a sudden he becomes a bit of an asshole. Honestly.
Well, I mean, we'll get there, but the sharks can eat his ass.
But before he dives down into the water, right? Even before he gets what's coming to him, I guess, as these kind of movies go with the 1, 2, 3. What does he say? I live in South Africa. I am used to this.
Yeah, I love this kind of thing.
These sharks can suck. Whatever. Corey and I was like, what does that even mean?
I was going to ask you about that.
No. All of us here in South Africa, we're very used to just getting tanked by genetically modified sharks in the middle of the ocean, and totally used to it.
Right? Someone from Florida going, alligators are attacking. I'm used to this. No, you're not.
I feel like he's more like saying he's an adrenaline junkie. He's used to, living life on the edge, rather than necessarily trying to swim through an enclosure full of giant, very intelligent sharks.
Yeah, but again, he's saying, he lives in South Africa, so therefore he's, used to... And I'm like, what? Again, we didn't understand what he was, really saying there. And it was a very funny saying. I feel like that could just as well be, I'm a human on this planet, so I'm used to this. I don't know. It was just very odd. We were like, what?
I want that in a movie now. Just don't worry about me. I'm a human of this planet. And then stomp.
I've seen so much. You wouldn't.
Love and Monsters 2.
Oh, I love that movie. So good.
So when Craig introduces Misty to Leslie and Daniel, he says that Misty is responsible for removing 3 shark species from the endangered list. And the first time I saw this, I thought he meant that she'd killed them all. Because he used the word removed, and I feel like he should have said the word saved. She saved them from not just because removed. You're taking something away. I feel like it's just a terribly worded introduction.
Yeah, and honestly, that makes me think about her face at the end, where I'm not going to spoil it, but you know what happens in the end, what they do, and
take us another one.
She's gleeful. She's absolutely she's smiling. It's wow. And I'm like, that feels, what? Oh, you've changed, Misty. You've sure changed.
Well, because that's because she's there for sharks, and these sharks are monsters. He made them into monsters. We'll get there. That's a few weeks away. We'll get there.
So these sharks, so in the first one, right, they were genetically modified, but they didn't kill those teenagers. They had every chance. They just wanted to escape. These bull sharks seem like jerks, correct?
Yes.
They have every right to be angry, but they're not nearly as nuanced as the sharks from the first film.
No, they're splitting three sharks worth of character across 5 sharks, so you have just less character, and then all the babies. But
yeah, I feel like there's 5 sharks, but they only talk about Bella all the time.
Yeah,
so,
the rest don't even
every
get a name.
Every